Essential question, we already have it written down. How does the order of operations become difficult? Here we go. Let's recall something. I need you to write this down in the notes section. Example 1, simplify. We're taking 3 times the quantity, 6 minus 4, and then divide by 2. All right. I really like GEMDAS because not all the time are we going to be dealing with parentheses. We've got grouping symbols. Sometimes the grouping symbol might be a big division bar. Sometimes it's going to be brackets. Sometimes it's going to be absolute value bars. So that's why I don't like PEMDAS. I like GEMDAS. GEMDAS meaning grouping. So, heard in class that we're going to do parentheses first. So we're going to take 3 times, well, 6 minus 4, we got a 2, and we copy down the rest of the problem. So, we're multiplying next, 3 times 2, and then we're going to divide. Answer's looking like a 3. Let's always try to box our answers. I'm big on boxing answers, so that way it's clear this is my answer. We're simplifying again. I see no grouping symbols, so I'm going to go to the exponent. So 4 squared actually means 4 times 4. I'm just going to write it out so we all realize, wait, 4 squared does not mean 4 times 2. It means 4 times itself. So, most of us probably wrote down 16 first. But then you're going to do the multiply. All right, 18 minus 16. Eventually we get down to a 2. So now we're going to be exposed to evaluating. Let's make sure we get all these directions down. Evaluate if C equals 15 and D equals 12. So that way we can do example 3 where it says CD squared. First off, anytime I'm going to insert a value, if there are no parentheses around the values, then that means C is going to get parentheses alone and D will get parentheses alone. So 15 is C, 12 is D, and then I'm going to put a little square. So we're going to do the exponent first. 12 squared is going to be 144, and then 15 times 144. So final answer, 2,160. Alright, so same evaluation directions. Evaluate if C equals 15 and D equals 12. Example 4 is now inserting parentheses. I will have parentheses around multiplication if I want you to do that first before the exponent. So, I want the quantity of CD raised to the second power. So I put 15 times 12 in first. And then I'm going to raise that value to the second power. Then I'm going to square that. Alright, so the final answer, 32,400. Let's write down these directions. Write an expression for the phrase, and then we're going to simplify. The first example 5, 4 times 3 squared. We're going to figure out what commas mean in mathematical language. So here we go, 4 times 3 squared. If I see a comma, that's sort of like my parenthesis. So that means all this gets into a parentheses, 4 times 3. And then all of that gets squared. That's what we're looking at. So I'm going to do the parentheses first, and then I'll square. Which you know 4 times 3 is 12. And if I square it, I'm now at 144. Same directions. You probably don't need to rewrite the top directions. But the importance of example 6, the square of 3 times 4. So the comma separates in parentheses. So all of this, if I wanted to keep that parenthesis deal, it actually still stays true. Some of you may be doing this, but even if I put it in parentheses, I'm still going to have to do it first. But the square of 3 is going to happen first, and then I'm going to multiply it times 4. I'm still going to have 9 times 4, so if you ended up with 36, you're in the ball field. So let's go to Google Classroom, and I need you to add me to your Google Classroom. 297, lowercase UKI. We should be in Algebra 1 Part 2. So I'm going to record one last little bit. I need you, either during study hall or some point in time today, to play this game. There's only 7 levels. 7 levels. It starts out okay, where So the bad thing about what I'm doing is I can't screencast it right now, but you got to be able to put in some numbers to where it equals the last one. It starts out easy, and I assure you, eventually it's going to get harder, where you're going to have to click on numbers to get to certain numbers. Anyway, I want you to practice this. There's only 7 rounds, and that's it. That's your homework.